Yesterday night, I got on live and I was trying to give y'all a live topic, and I got on and I couldn't remember the topic. And I woke up this morning and it came to me, and I have some time, so I'm going to get into it briefly here. The topic was based upon this interview that I did with Cara Maria, and there was this one part of the interview. If you haven't watched the interview, please watch it. The numbers are going up. But for those who have watched it, um, there's this one particular portion of the interview where she was talking to me about her time off from the challenge. So she had done all these many seasons in a row. The challenge was not a part of her life, and then it became a part of her life. And then it became melded and merged with her identity. And it still is in some sorts, because she's still doing the challenge. Probably, I'm just pulling out ballpark figures, but I would assume 70 to 80% of her fan base is people who started following her from the challenge. But she said that there was a part of her life where the two things went hand in hand, and then when she was on her break, she realized that there's life outside of the challenge. She didn't say it in those exact words. I'm kind of paraphrasing and also just taking what I gathered by what she was telling me. So essentially, she said that on the show before, she would take everything personally when she was on the show, where she would take it personally when people voted for her to go in. She would cry about that. When people who were her friends in real life would gang up on her in one of the challenge houses, she would be like, what did I do to make people do this to me? Then she talked about during her downtime from the challenge, when she was in a villain era where everybody considered her a villain. And she said that the fandom was really toxic at that time, and they were saying some crazy things to her. So she said that those things that they were saying to herself and to Polly in the comments, in the DMs and everything, were really hard to hear. And it put her through a lot mentally and emotionally. And she said that that was a really tough time period to get through. But during that time is where she was able to realize, the challenge is one part of my life, but it's not my whole life. There's a separation between this TV show that I participate in and my life outside of the TV show. So I guess I was going to say, I always take what these people tell me, whoever it is that I'm interviewing, or even if it's just in conversations that I have with different people. I always take what they tell me, and if it's something that I can relate to, I try to draw parallels, and I can draw parallels to my life in a sense of good morning, Ma. I do sleep. I just don't sleep consecutive hours like that. I had slept actually 8 hours, because I slept from, 10 p.m. to 3 something. That was 5 plus. And then I slept another 3 hours from 5 to 8, which is actually when I think about it, which is actually more hours than I usually sleep. I usually sleep about 5 to 6 total hours, but this evening I actually slept 8.5. So I got a lot of sleep for me. I never get 8+ hours. But anyways, as I was saying, the parallel that I draw to my own life was this YouTube page, which I have mentioned before. When I first started with the YouTube, not with the YouTube partnership program, because I was doing it for free for a while before I got into the YouTube partnership program. But when I first started becoming an online presence, it was very difficult to take. I actually remember this particular time that I come back to. I come back to this time every once in a while. Big Brother 24. Taylor Hale was like a national phenomenon. That was, in terms of coverage for Big Brother, I've covered 3 seasons of Big Brother, and by far, that season got me the most views. So Taylor was really a really popular figure for that season. And I was actually cheering for her the whole season from the beginning. It's documented. If you go back onto my music and mental health page, and if you were to check my Big Brother coverage, there's a lot of pro Taylor stuff there. Now, I commented on everything on the page. I mean, everything happening in the house. Gameplay, showmances, conversation topics that they had going on in the house on the live feeds. Just whatever was on there, I was commenting on it. And I remember, and then I was answering people's comments as I do on this page also. And one of the things people was asking me, do I think that Taylor and Joseph's relationship is real? And I was like, or maybe not necessarily is it real, but is it going to, do I think that it's going to last? And to me, these are just regular questions. You know, it's not hate, and it's not, oh, I don't want these people to succeed. It's just, in your opinion, what do you think of these people's relationship? And you can't say that it's private, because they were 2 Big Brother players, and they openly talked about their relationship online. They had a whole fan base behind it. So I didn't see a thing wrong with answering that question. So what I did was I said, I was like, I don't necessarily see them lasting long term. That was just my opinion. Good morning, Mac and Sleaze. Hi, Kate Jones. That was just my personal opinion about, you know, what was happening with that. And then all of a sudden, I remember having people all up in my comment section. You hate the black woman. Oh, you don't want to see her succeed. Whatever they were saying. And that was light for that. That was light. Then when I went to Big D's birthday party from season 23, she was there, and I gave like a 2-hour recap of my experience at the birthday party, and I spoke about her for probably 5 minutes of that 2 hours. And then the 5 minutes that I spoke got clipped and posted on Reddit, which I didn't know at the time. I found that out later. Then the comments I was getting were wild. You're a loser, you're a stalker, you're this and you're that. Like, people were finding me on Instagram and sending me Instagram messages, and they were emailing me nasty hate messages and stuff like that. And I was like, all of this is because I said that when I went to go to this party, I didn't speak to Taylor and Joseph that much because they were in the VIP section. I'm like, one, where's the lie? They did spend the majority of the time in the VIP section, but two, even saying that, what would make people comment crazy because of that? So I used to log in and I would see 15 notifications. I go through all the notifications. All the comments were nasty. And I was like, it was giving me such an extreme amount of anxiety because I'm like, I'm not like this. I'm not this person that they're describing. This is not me. It was because when I first started, I was receiving nothing but love. So at that point in time, I thought to myself, that's going to be the majority of my experience, and then I'm going to deal with a few trolls. I learned that's not necessarily the case. It's not about how much love you get versus how many trolls you have. It's about what you focus on and what you pay attention to. So I actually remember people in my comment section in particular. I hate to name people because I know that I'm going to remember some and I'm not going to remember others. But I still like to give people credit where credit is due. I remember a few people when this was happening. Tammy. I want to say Holly. People who are mods on that channel. Van Hoot. Unfortunately, I can't remember all the people that were mods over there on the Music and Mental Health channel, but Lisa, I think Lisa was one of them. And people and them and a few other people were like, just keep doing you and don't worry about the trolls. Like, we'll take care of them for you. In other words, we'll block them. And, focus on the reason that people liked you in the first place, because there's going to be periods where the trolls come in waves. Like, sometimes I'll get on here for a month and there's only going to be a handful of trolls the whole month. Other days I'll jump on here and the algorithm has fed the trolls my page and they're just an avalanche. But now I'm like much better at staying grounded. Thanks Ma. Bye, bada bing. Bada bing. You got your 10 seconds of fame. Hi, Edward. Now I'm much more grounded with that because I just block those people really quick. And I pretty much know the majority of my group that is on here on a consistent, regular basis. And then on top of that, what else is I going to say? I know who I am off the phone, off the computer. So I don't come on here to try to figure that out. Who I am and what I think of myself is not determined by what people say to me online. So while it is nice when people give me nice comments on the internet, it's not a validation requirement for me. In the same sense as if somebody tells me something online on an online platform that is not accurate to who I know myself to be, I don't take it personally. And I imagine that that person is possibly even, projecting. This might even be how they are in their own life, and they're projecting that onto somebody else. So I understood, whenever I talk to these people from these various shows and they tell me things, like I understand them, just because I guess I kind of cater my questions around things that are kind of thought-provoking, food for thought. And when I watch back these interviews the second time or the third time, the first watch I'm just watching for errors, which I do have an error to correct that I've been meaning to correct. But by the third watch, I'm watching to see the gems. I used to do that. I might do that for this interview. Interview gems, where I pretty much take the interview and take out the parts of it that I like the most and have discussions about those, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. But what was this other one? How is somebody... Wait a minute. How is somebody going to get on a YouTube live comment section and say you yap too much? Like, what do you expect someone to do on a live? like sit here and not speak? What? I don't understand. I miss Van Hoot and Holly and Lisa. Same here. Holly Van Hoot still jumps on, but it's much more occasional nowadays. Holly has not been on in a very long time. I've tried to reach out on Facebook, and I think I tried to reach out on Instagram before, to no avail. I mean, she's still like in my couple of Facebook groups, and she still likes some of the stuff I put in there, but personally, she hasn't responded to a message of mine in a while. And Lisa, we already know. Lisa has an open invitation to come back whenever she would like. They want to watch you do a mukbang instead. I don't even know what that is. So yeah, that was me finishing up my thought from yesterday, which wasn't even a thought because I couldn't even remember what I was going to talk about, but I was connecting the separation of TV shows. For me, my separation of covering TV shows versus who is Mark outside of this internet, and her speaking on, basically speaking on when she was not on the challenge for those 4 to 5 years, and how she had to rediscover her identity, which I'm glad I said that, because I remember that I have to find that clip and post that up. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more great content. Oh yeah, no, that's a no for me. That's a no for me, dog. That's from American Idol, Randy.